Okay. Last week we have learned layer management and layer creations. Right.
Yes, sir.
Today we are going to learn blocks and groups or blocks and model space and layout space. What is the difference between model space and layout space? What is the purpose of layout space and all the other things? Before going to start the lesson, I want to open the existing drawing. So open. Okay, I will take the same drawing. Then only it will be help you to understand very clearly. Okay, now I'm going to use the model space. Blocks means it's a template, like a group of elements is combined together with a one object. It's called as block. For example, if you are using a window or door or any electrical item, mechanical item, piping item, so whatever that, if you are repeatedly using that elements, so no need to create every time. For example, I will draw one lighting element. So this is called fluorescent light, something like that. Just I'm creating a 3D to understand about that object. But actually on the plan drawing there is no 3D view. Okay, no need. I will create only the plan drawing. See, this is the lighting element. Double tube light, that is here we are calling is the luminous lighting, something like that. I'm not sure exactly. See, this is the one light. Okay, one type of light. So for the building, in any building or any construction phase, that may be a varieties of lighting elements, same as the variety type of doors, windows, and other elements. I mean, some ACMV element, piping element, or whatever that. If you now I created one lighting. This lighting I'm going to use it for many places or many floors. So whenever I need this light, I have to create every time. For example, on the floor, in the particular floor, there are a lot of lighting elements. See here, where you can see the lights, light switches. This is switch. Lighting element. Okay, maybe I will take it the ACMV. See, this is the one of the element. This is the diffuser. It could be easy for you. See, this is the diffuser. See, here there is a lot of diffuser. So many diffuser. More than I believe that that might be 50 to 100. So if you want to create, if you want to place the diffuser for in the one flow, you have to create 100 times, right? It's taking very longer time. So if you want to place the lighting in your flow, you have to create 100 times or 200 times. It's consuming a lot of time. So that's why they give us the other option is the light blocks. If you create a block, this is the light. If you created now, you can create this lighting element as a block. Then after you can use it anywhere, wherever you want. Okay, now I'm going to create the block. BLOCK block, enter, then the new window will appear. You have to create the new block name. Maybe I will create lighting double what is called luminar or something, lumen. Okay, just create one. So maybe you can type 1. Then after you have to choose a specific on screen wherever you want to refer that object, that element, you can pick that point. So I choose the pick point to bring the center of the element. Click. Then after you can specify on screen is here. One more, we have to select the object. Here the below select object. Click, then come back to the model space to select the object. After you enter, then after annotation, not necessary now. After once you create the name, then pick point and object. After say okay, then your object become single object. Okay, last time there was a line with a rectangle, but now it's become single object. So that means this object is created by block. Now you can create as many blocks in your drawing. Whatever the object you want to repeatedly using, you can create that object as a blocks. Okay. Once you created like a lighting, power, a fan, switches, tables, chairs, lift, escalators, so diffusers, whatever that, sink, kitchen cabinets or whatever that. After use the command is insert, then automatically new window will appear. So if I bring it there, how to bring? Okay. So once you use the insert command, then automatically new window will appear. After you can type your particular block name, current drawing, something wrong. Insert. So here you can see your object, the block object. See, there is a lot of blocks. This is everything they created themselves by different different elements. Our element is not here. Maybe this is the other category. Other drawing, not this is the correct drawing. Lighting, yes. When you type that lighting command, you can get that particular block, whatever you created just before. Just you click, then you can bring it to minimize, you can bring it to pick wherever you want. There is a multiple option to pick it. Otherwise, you can choose one by one. So if you want to place here, you can place. Again, you can place it here. Once you create, then easily you can copy or you can use the insert command. See for here, lot of blocks here. So you can create as a block and also you can use that symbols and this element into any other project. For example, this is a socket, electrical socket. So wherever you want the number 41 socket, you can just click and bring it to the flow. You can place it where it is. Insert scale. Also, you can manage here with the scale option. If it is the object is very small, if you want to enlarge by scale. Do you remember that last week, not last week, a few weeks before we have learned how to use the scale command to enlarge your object by particular dimensions. So you can enlarge your scale and also you can rotate your object and also you can replace and repeat that object. If you place repeat, then you choose R key, then you can multiply place it. Maybe here is not able to see because of that layer may be freezed. Yeah. See, this is the object you are selected, inserted. For example, say I will choose some other object. Fire. Green. Actually, these blocks are different from other project. So we can use, if you are creating your own object, then easily you can use it anywhere. So this is the way to create the blocks. Depend on the requirement, depends on your requirement. If you are using only one time that element, then no need to create it as a block. You can just draw to make it some name and to place it and to leave it. If you are using that particular element to the many places on the building or floors, so blocks could be more helpful to use to create the drawing. Okay, so this is the one method, one of the command. It's also very important. For example, in the drawing, there is a lot of diffuser. This is all based on the blocks. There is some chairs. See, this is the chair. This chair is created by block and to placing wherever they want. If you select here, right click, select similar, then the property will show you 35 elements are in that particular drawing. Okay, so that means 35 chairs are placed in this particular floor. Okay, And also they give us the some properties, the layer name, layer type, you can see here. Then layer line type scale, line weight, by layer, the transparency is what is the condition, and the position and scale type, some other things. So if you are select only one, it will refer exactly what is the value. If you selected all together, it will show varies. See, for example, if I select, see, name, the particular position of the x-axis, y-axis, and everything is here. Okay. So this is the details of blocks. So if you want to create more objects, then simply you can create the object as a block, then insert that block in your drawing. Okay. The next is layout. Maybe you can think, what is that model? What is the layout? Actually, I have one example drawing, so that would be easy for you to understand. So I already told you, and until now we are using only the model space. So model space is a drafting space. If you want to draw anything, you have to draw in model space only. Don't use layout space, because layout space is for presentation and inserting the blocks to print the drawing. Also, we can use that layout space to create the drawing, but the drawing is not by scale. We cannot control the drawing into scale. Okay, so I will teach you what is the scale. Last time we have learned the scale, but that scale, and now we are going to learn that scale is totally different. First scale is belonging to the object scaling. This layout scale is presentation. It will be reflected into hard copy in your paper printing. Okay, if you want to print to the paper, if you want to print to the drawing to the engineers or supervisors, so that time you should give your drawing as scale. Otherwise, the people will not know exact dimensions, except if you are mentioned that value into the drawing inside, they can understand. Otherwise, they will not understand. Okay, for example, if you create a 100 mm square and you take the printout to the people, they don't know whether it's a 100 mm scale or 150 mm scale. If you have mentioned the dimension in the width and the height, they can easily know that this scale, the square is 100 mm. If you didn't mention the annotation, the value of dimension, they will not know that. But alternatively, if you're using the layout space to fix some particular scale, then without the dimension, they can measure your drawing. There only the scale will reflect in layout space. Now we are going to see how it will reflect and how we'll use it in layout space. Okay, whatever the drawing I told you, you have to create in model space. Okay, once you finish the drawing, you have to come back a layout space. In your drawing, after the model space, there is another one more icon, like as a Excel sheet 1, sheet 2, 3, right? The same way here also have. Some people have, some people don't have. If you don't have, there might be some plus symbol. If you click, when you bring your cursor there, then automatically it will show you new layout. You can click that if you don't have. If you have, you can use that existing layout. Also, the existing layout is the other drawing. So that's the case, you have to create the new one. So I click the new layout. It asks you enter the new layout name. So I will create class. layout, new layout. Why it's showing like that? No, don't click right. Don't do left click. You do right click. If you do the right click, new layout, just you click. Also, it's getting maybe then alternatively, yeah. See, if you create here so many, I have the so many layouts, so that's why it's hidden by below. Otherwise, you can see layout 1, layout 2, layout 3. Maybe I can delete and show you again how to create. Delete. Delete. I created so many layouts. Also, I will delete the existing one. Now I'm going to right click, new layout. So already created. If you bring down, you can see that. So this is the new layout. In the new layout, nothing is there because I hope you remember that last few weeks before we learned the layer, how the layer is working. The same way, layout is also one of the layer. Just you imagine like that. Okay, it's also one of the layout. We can't see anything here, but we can bring it everything, whatever you drawn in the model space. Okay, so for example, if you create the layout, you can rename the layout name. So rename, you can place classroom 1. So this is my layout name. After that, once you create the layout with name, now you're going to use multi-view or MV. This MV is the short key and multi-view is the full command name. So MV, even though if you mention the MV, it's showing multi-view, MView. So enter. After you enter, it will ask you specify corner of viewport on and off, fit, shade, lot, lock, new, named object, so many things. First, we are going to try specify corner of viewport. So just I'm going to click one port and to bring it to the right corner, whatever the view you want. If you click it here, maybe I can create the big viewport. If you click it, then one view will be created. After that, usually when you create the new view, every drawing will come to the viewport. Again, I will create MV. My viewport is very small. That's why it's coming very small. See, now I'm creating the very big viewport. See, my all the drawings is came to this viewport. Are you able to see that? See here in the model space, whatever in the model space, everything came to my classroom layout, right? Can see that? So this is the way to bring your drawing into layout space, but this is not by scale. Okay, so this is for only visible. You can bring it there, whatever in the model space. After that, you have to assign the scale for this particular viewport. Okay, if you want to print this view, this drawing, this particular object by scale, you have to assign it. If you don't want to take it as a scale, just you choose to print it. Okay, so if you want to set the scale, just you select below. See here there is a icon, it's called annotation icon. scale of the select viewport. You have to pick that down arrow, click, then you can get the scale port. Here there is a lot of scales. 1 is to 200, 1 is to 250, 1 is to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 50, 100, something like that. Maybe you can think, what is this scale? Why I want to use this scale? I don't know how many of you have seen the hard copy of drawing. If you are working in a construction company or construction site, definitely there will be a drawing sheet. Whenever you see the drawing sheet, in the right bottom corner of the title block, I will teach you what is the title block in the next. Before that, on the corner, they mentioned scale equal to 1 is to 1, 1 is to 2, 1 is to 10, 1 is to 50, 100, something like that. So you have to fix that title block scale into viewport. Otherwise, this drawing is not by scale. Even though if you're drawn by scale also, it will not reflect into viewport. Okay. If the people want to use your drawing to measure themselves, you have to assign the scales. Maybe you can think, what is this 1 is to 1, 1 is to 2, 1 is to 4. That means 1 is to 1 means whatever you drawn the object in the model space, when you bring it that model space drawing into viewport as a 1 is to 1, it will be reflect in the same dimension. Just a second, my computer is the battery low. Okay. So even though if you are drawn by 1 is to 1 scale, it will not be reflected into the layout space unless you have to assign 1 is to 1. How to assign? And why I need to assign? Sometimes if the engineer want to measure the dimension or particular any element, they will use some scale that is called engineering scale. In that engineering scale, there is a multiple scale, like as a 1 is to 1, 1 is to 10, 1 is to 20, 50, 100, something like that. So for example, if you are able to see, this is the normal scale. This is 1 is to 1. Usually we have seen, right? 1 to 10 decimal become centimeter, 1 centimeter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until the 1 feet scale is 30 centimeter and 12 inches. This is a common normal using scale. If your drawing is printed by 1 is to 1 scale, you can measure the drawing into normal scale. For example, if you are drawn 100 mm square, and also you printed that scale drawing is in 1 is to 1 scale, you can measure that drawing into the normal scale. If you are measuring by 10 decimal, 10 division, it's become 100 mm, okay, or 10 mm, okay. So if 100 mm means 10 centimeter. If you measure that hard copy in normal scale, it will show you that length is 100 mm. If you are not assigning 1 is to 1 scale, it will not show you exactly whatever that 100 mm. It will showing the wrong dimension. The same way, there is a multiple scale is 1 is to 1, 10, 20, 50, 100, even 75, 125, 150 also have. Sometimes the engineer will ask you to take, I want the drawing is 1:100, 1:50. So that means when they're using the normal scale or multiple scale, the engineering scale, they can choose 1:50 scale ruler to measure your drawing. Then automatically the drawing will reflect that exact dimensions of that particular line or arc or whatever that. It will help to double confirm your design, your drafting, and also they can help, they will help, it will be help them to make it double confirmation for on site and other purpose. So the scale is very important in layout space. So once you create the multi-view, then you select, after you can bring down your cursor in the right down, choose the scale. Straight away you can choose whatever the scale you want. For example, if I choose 1:100, then automatically your drawing is adjusting by 1:100. Okay. 1 second, please. The battery lamp down ஆயிடுச்சு, ஆஃப் ஆயிடுச்சு. அது கொஞ்சம் ரீகனெக்ட் பண்ணு.
சுவிட்ச் ஆன் பண்ணவே இல்லையா?
பிளக்கே போடல, அது எந்த பிளக்னு தெரியல எனக்கு. இப்போ சவுண்ட் கேட்கல, நான் என்ன பேசுறது தெரியாது. இதுல கேக்குதா ஸ்பீக்கர்ல?
கேக்குது சார், கேக்குது.
ஆனா ஆனா இல்ல.
கேக்குது சார்.
அதுல கேட்கல.
கேட்கல. இப்போ நீங்க அவன் கேக்குதா இல்லையான்னு எனக்கு புரியல.
கேக்குது சார், கேக்குது.
கேக்குது சார், கேக்குது கேக்குது கேக்குது
கேட்கும் நீ பேசுங்க.
நான் பேசுறது உங்களுக்கு கேக்குதா?
கேக்குது கேக்குது சார், கேக்குது
இதுல
சார்.
கேக்குதா? Are you able to hear my voice?
Yes, hearing it.
கேக்குது, லைட்டா கேக்குது.
நீ வாலி வெளிய
அவ்வளவுதான், மேக்ஸிமம் தான்.
இல்ல வைக்கலாம்.
ஹலோ, ஓகே, கேக்குது. That's good. Okay, sorry for the interruption.
சார்ஜ் போட்டுக்கிறோம்.
சரி, அமைதியா இருக்கும். Okay, now as I assigned that multi-view into 1:100 scale, it's become, my drawing is fixed into 1:100. If I choose again, to 1:1, then my drawing is adjusting by 1:1 scale. C is very small. For this case, you can double click, then automatically the multi-view will be editable. If you bring back away from the multi-view, here if you double click, then if you zoom, the overall multi-view will be moving. If you want to zoom in inside the multi-view port, you have to double click inside the window, that means the box. Double click, then zoom it. You can zoom to fix here, zoom, and you come away from the multi-view, double click, then you can get it. Now you select that object, multi-view object, fix 1:5. It's small, so 1:1. Okay, that is correct. Now your multi-view is become 1:1 scale. Still your drawing is not covered by that multi-view. You can just click and to adjust it based on, just I'm clicking to adjust. Again I use the move command to move that multi-view in other place. So I have created the multi-view and brought my drawing into that multi-view by 1:1 scale. Okay, this is the way to set the scale. That scale and this scale is totally different. That scale is enlarging the object in model space. This scale is fixing the element into particular scale in ruling, in the measuring option. Okay, so this is the beginning stage. We have to set up something in the next upcoming lessons. So once you set up you here 1:1, it's not compulsory to fix 1:1. You can fix it into 1:10, 1:50, 1:100, 1:200, 1:300 until 500. Maybe you can think how I can fix it. For example, when you click that multi-view, go to the arrow, then here there is no more 1:500. There is 1:100, 200, 250. If you want to create the 500, you scroll down. There is a custom. Click the custom. The new window will appear. After, you can check whether here is. If there is no, then you choose add button. Now you have to assign what scale you want. 1:500. Okay. Now the paper unit is 1:1. Drawing unit must be 500. Then only it will reflect. If you choose one paper unit and drawing unit 1, it's becomes 1:1. It's not will it will not be reflected into 1:50, 500 object. So you have to make sure whatever you give the value here 1:500 means 1:500 means 1:500. Okay. Once you assign, then say okay, then automatically it will reflect here. Then okay. After you have to create another multi-view MV, enter, choose the new window of multi-view. Now you can assign other scale is 1:500. See, this is 1:1. This is 1:500. I show you some different scale, then it could be help you to understand well. Yeah, fetch. Okay. See, this is 1:1. I select the object and bring here 1:10. Oh, 1:10 also very. Okay, maybe I can choose 1:2. I choose this one is 1:4. This one 1:8. 1:10. 1:50. See the difference between the different multi-view. This one is 1:1. So it was fixed into that multi-view port. This is 1:2, 1:4, 1:6, 8, 1:10. Object is the same, drawing is the same. There is nothing difference, but the view presentation is totally different. Okay. So this is the way to create the layout and fix the scale. The next class we are going to learn how to fix this scale into drawing title block, and then how to print it is the next lesson. Okay, just you try to create this object. This two commands is a blocks and a layout. Create the layouts. The next class we will continue for the other commands to complete the layout and also print out, plot, how to plot the drawings. Okay. So today lesson is over. If anything question you can ask me, I can explain to you.